Howdy, Celta friends. My name is Fergus. Recently, a cowboy asked me if I could help him round up 18 cows. I said, yes, of course. That's 20 cows. Today, we are going to do one of my most requested videos. 5 answers to 5 of your questions. Let's see if I can do better than the 20 cows response. Okay. Question 1 comes from Omar Hassan, who is soon to be starting his Celta in Egypt. Wishing you a great course, by the way, Omar. So he goes on to ask, Hi Fergus, I've been following your videos as I'm applying for the Celta, and I was wondering how tutors assess you over the course duration, and do they count each and everything you do, or are there certain areas I need to specifically focus on? Hope you're having a lovely Christmas. Well, it's a little bit past now, but a very happy Christmas to you and everyone watching this channel. It's a great question about assessment. The short answer to your question is that there is no one thing you should focus on. You need to demonstrate that you can teach a variety of lesson types to a variety of levels. The Celta syllabus itself can shed some light on this. So, starting with an overview of the assessment, Cambridge tells us that Celta is awarded to candidates who have completed the course and who have met the assessment criteria for all written and practical assignments. The overall assessment aims for each topic are that candidates should be able to 1. Assess learner needs and plan and teach lessons which take account of learners' backgrounds, learning preferences, and current needs. 2. To demonstrate language knowledge and awareness and appropriate teaching strategies. 3. To demonstrate knowledge about language skills and how they may be acquired. 4. Plan and prepare lessons designed to develop their learners' overall language competence. And 5, to demonstrate an appropriate range of teaching skills at this level and show professional awareness and responsibility. My series, 5 Tips to Get a Pass A in your Celta, goes into each of these topics in detail and offers you tips on how to achieve each of them. So the actual assessment framework has 2 components. Component 1, planning and teaching, and component 2, classroom-related written assignments, of which there are 4 in total. Celta is internally assessed and externally moderated by a Cambridge English-approved assessor who samples portfolios and teaching practice and who discusses and agrees the grades for all candidates. Great question, Omar, and good luck with your course. Let us know how you get on. Next up, Lucille Delanier, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, asks about a local usage of grammar on the west coast of the United States. She says, Thank you, Fergus. I really enjoyed that session. Very useful. So glad to hear this. Doing my Celta now. Can I ask, just out of curiosity, do you spend much time on the present perfect? That is, if you are based in the USA or teaching US English. I've noticed that this tense is not used much, at least in California. This is one of those how long is a ball of string kind of questions. The answer really depends. But let me try and offer something concrete based on my own experience. Back in Ireland, where I'm from, we say trousers, the boot of my car, and aluminium. Whereas here in Canada, where I live, people say pants and the trunk of the car and aluminum. So what to teach? Well, my rule of thumb is based on learner-centered thinking. Teach the learners what they need to know. So, if I'm teaching some people living in Canada, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to teach them trousers over pants. At the same time, once I've taught them pants, it wouldn't hurt to let them know about how we say it on my side of the pond. The same goes for the present perfect. I have heard this about some variants of the language in the US, which tend to have a lower usage of this grammar. By the way, this is a great observation on your part. Great language awareness, something that is looked for in the Celta. However, my mother often told me education is a light load to carry. So go ahead and teach them the present perfect and let them know that it's not so common in the US. Who knows, they might be planning a trip to Ireland, in which case they will be glad you have taught them the present perfect. It's a very interesting question, and I would love to get your thoughts, dear viewer, in the comments below. Recently, I worked with Daniel from Brazil as he prepared to take his own Celta course. But before we met online, he wrote this question. Hello, Fergus. Thank you again for all the knowledge you shared through your videos on Celta. Keep them coming. I certainly plan to, Daniel. I was wondering about your time in Brazil, since I am from here. Where did you teach? What did you learn from the language and culture? Maybe you can tell us a little about this in your next question and answer video. Daniel also added, people from Brazil tend to add a vowel at the end of English words, I've noticed. But I'm sure there are other things also from the natives of non-speaking countries you visited. I would love to know more about that as a way to improve pronunciation. Cheers. So, first of all, I have a very special place in my heart for Brazil. So, thank you very much, Danielle, for the question. I lived and worked in the sprawling metropolis of Sao Paulo for roughly 4 years and will always look back on this time with immense fondness and, as the Brazilians often say, with saudades. I found a great affinity with Brazilian people and really loved going to botecos and ordering misto quentes and pingados. Incidentally, this is how I learned much of my Portuguese. Botecos are a unique kind of Brazilian diner. You raised an interesting linguistic point regarding the addition of vowels and conversely the subtraction of some vowels by Brazilian speakers of English. This makes me think about two concepts, language one transfer and language one interference. Language one transfer is where you can see a similarity between two languages and it helps you find your way in the second language. So, for example, the suffix ação becomes ation in English. So, for example, in Portuguese, informação becomes information. This is a really good strategy for language learners. However, sometimes this generalizing about language can run up against what are called sometimes false friends or false cognates. A common example is actually. There is a similar word in many languages with Latin roots. For example, in French and Spanish and Portuguese, where it is actuellement, actualmente, actualmente. The meaning is something like right now or at the moment in those languages. And that's why you will sometimes, to the question, what are you up to these days, get the slightly off response of, actually, I'm studying Celta. Whereas something like, I've recently been studying, or these days I'm taking my Celta. Great question, Danielle. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, 3 questions down, and in just 1 minute, I want to talk about a great question from the user who goes by EY about Jeremy Harmer's book, The Practice of English Language Teaching. But I'll get to that in just 1 minute. First, are you preparing for your Celta? Are you interested in aiming for the stars? If so, maybe a consultation with me could help. Why not shoot me an email on fergustrainer@gmail.com and let's explore how I can help you. I've also recently developed courses for teaching online and how to use online tools to enhance your teaching experience. Okay, let's get back to answering your questions. EY commented, "Thanks for sharing. That's very valuable for me. I will start my Celta course next January. I'm currently reading the book, The Practice of English Language Teaching, which was written by Jeremy Harmer. Can I use it instead? Because I can't find a PDF of the one you mentioned. Another question I would like to ask is how to improve the accuracy of teacher talk. Is there any practice method you could share with me? Looking forward to your reply. So for the first part of your question, the short answer is absolutely. Jeremy Harmer is a titan of ELT, and I would absolutely endorse his book. It has been used by countless Celta and Delta trainees over the years, and there is a wealth of information in there. You absolutely won't make a wrong move by reading that book. My own preference has been for the Scrivener book, Learning Teaching, as I find it extremely accessible and I often refer my trainees to sections of it while they're taking their own course. Either way, it's hard to make a wrong choice with those two fantastic authors. Regarding your second question about improving teacher talking time, I often say Rome wasn't built in a day, so you have to be patient and realize that this will just improve with practice. Two things I would suggest, though, would be to start thinking, instead of explaining, to start asking questions to your learners. This will give them opportunities to speak more and keep your teacher talk more targeted and useful for them. Another thing that you can do is to put a voice recorder into your pocket and record your lesson and then listen back to yourself. It's often very revealing to hear your own words because often we're quite unconscious of many of the things that come out of our own mouth. Great questions, EY. Thank you very much. Ikander simply asked this great question. Awesome. I just started Celta. Looks good. After Celta, is Delta a must, or what would you say? So I took my own Delta a little under 2 years after getting my initial certification. Delta is quite a step up from Celta in terms of depth and workload. However, I don't want to scare anybody off taking it. Delta was a wonderful experience and it opened many doors for me. I would say from the outset, it's not the only option. There is a Trinity diploma option as well as a variety of master's courses out there. However, just as with Celta, Delta does carry a lot of name recognition in the world of English language teaching. Cambridge offers some help on who is Delta for, where they say, English language teachers who have been teaching for at least 1 year. This used to be 2 years in my day. In any case, I can tell you from my own Delta, you will need at least this 1 year of experience because Delta requires you to look back on your own experiences of being a teacher in order to complete many of its developmental tasks. It's not only a question of doing the readings and the assignments. Cambridge goes on to say that the Delta is for English language teachers who want to progress into more senior roles, such as head of English and teacher training. These were exactly my own objectives when I took Delta, and within a short period of completing my own Delta, I was very fortunate to achieve both. The Delta is also for experienced teachers who want to extend their expertise in a specialist area. There's no doubt this is true. Delta will expose you to a broad range of fascinating ideas as well as methods, approaches, and techniques to enhance your teaching. The course is also for first language English speakers as well as non-first language speakers, or sometimes referred to as native speakers and non-native speakers, who have a CEFR, that's a Common European Frame of Reference level, of high C1. So not just C1, but almost at C2, that proficient level. I've known many non-native speakers who have achieved both Celta and Delta. In fact, I would say I learned most of what I know about pronunciation and engaging lessons from two wonderful Polish colleagues many years ago. By the way, thanks Marek and Bartłomiej. You guys were great. They also tell us that Delta is suitable for teaching any age group, from young learners to adults. While my own experience has predominantly been with the teaching of adults, it did equip me with more confidence and knowledge for teaching the younger ones. So your questions were a lot of fun to respond to, and I hope they helped shed some light. Let me know in the comments what you thought. And for the rest of you, what English teaching questions do you have swirling around in your mind? Are you thinking about taking Celta? Have you taken it already? What impressions do you have? Let me know in the comments. Do not forget to like, obliterate that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one.